From the studios of KENW on the campus of Eastern New Mexico University, it's You Should Know, featuring the people and events of Eastern New Mexico and West Texas.
Welcome to You Should Know. I'm your host, Evelyn Ledbetter, and today my guest is the General Manager of the Curry County Event Center, Casey Messick. Casey, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're a busy guy.
It's been busy, yeah, absolutely.
Always things going on. Tell me a little bit about you. I've met you, but I don't think you've not been here too many years. So.
No, 5 years. I moved here from Colorado, and yeah, I kind of just jumped in both feet into New Mexico and the Clovis area, and
Okay.
yeah, I come from small town southeastern Colorado, and
Tell me the name.
Cheraw, Colorado, born and raised, yeah.
And a huge population.
Yeah, about 250 people.
Right.
That's probably stretching it a little bit, but yeah, Cheraw, Colorado,
Okay.
born and raised, 60 miles east of Pueblo.
Okay. So do you go up that way through Amarillo? How do you get there?
So the easiest way is to go kind of cut through the corner, and then we hit Springer and pop out on I-25.
Okay.
So I-25 runs you right into Colorado.
And from there, where did you, your family's still there?
Family's all still there. I moved to Pueblo. I stayed there for 16 years.
Oh.
Traveled for work but I was based out of Pueblo, Colorado for 16 years.
Okay. And where did you go to school?
Cheraw High School.
Okay.
And then I went to a junior college for a couple of years, and then just literally got an opportunity to get in the events business. And 22 years later, here I am.
Boots on the ground, learning on how to do those. So.
Seen a lot of country and traveled for 16 years of it. Just events, music. It's been a long stint in the events business, but it's been good.
And the word around town is your family is a bunch of floppy-eared critters that hang out with you.
I have 5 dogs. I came to Clovis with 1, and 4 more ended up. But yeah, no, I'm a sucker for an orphan.
Yeah,
so
me too.
I've got a pretty ragtag crew that just kind of, hangs
just
around.
came about. So what brought you to Clovis was literally the job at the event
It
center.
was, yes. I work for a venue management company. So what that means is we go and we manage different venues all over the country. Clovis has the event center that's managed by Oakview Group. And there it went. I mean, the job popped up. I took it sight unseen. I'd never been to Clovis. I said, that sounds like fun, and loaded Hank in the truck, and here we are.
Hank the cow dog?
Hank the tank. Yeah, he's a good dog.
That's fun. So what was it, just the opportunity to grow this program? Is that?
Yeah, the opportunity to get in, to eventually run my own building, and so far so good. Started as the events manager, and then worked my way up into overseeing operations. And then as soon as that happened, COVID hit. And so I stuck around. We minimized the staff to myself, basically. And after that, we rebuilt, got ready for the doors to open. We weren't sure if it was going to be a month or 12 months, and it was 14. So we went ahead and just started over from scratch. I found a really, really good director of operations, Josh Jeffs, and him and I kind of locked arms and said, "Here we go," and built a crew and rebuilt the schedule, rebuilt the kind of rebuilt the entire. It was kind of a good refresh for the building. Newer events, different events. Just the overall marketing of the business. We kind of revamped that, and here we are.
Well, so out of the ashes, basically, almost like the phoenix, you had to rise again.
We
and
did,
rebuild.
And it was tough, but it's come out of here pretty successful so far.
I don't remember how many years ago was it the event center was even built.
2009. And Oakview Group, well, the company that's now Oakview Group, it used to be Spectra, Comcast Spectacor before that, has been there since day one.
I know I've been to rodeos. I think that's the main, and a couple of concerts.
Yep,
I've done that.
we try and put something in there for everybody. The goal was to put something family oriented in every month of the year. Something that wasn't just rodeo, wasn't just livestock show. We've got a ton of that. That's what we're based on. That's our foundation. But we've added wrestling. We're adding a dodgeball tournament next month. Just stuff to make that building useful. The cool part about that building is it's unique to a lot of buildings across the country because it's equestrian based, which means rodeo, horses, livestock. But we're able to have events like dodgeball. We're able to have concerts. We're able to host graduations. We can transform that. We just had a banquet. The chamber banquet was at the Curry County Event Center. So we're able to transform that building in such a broad variety compared to most buildings. Most buildings do concerts, athletic events, and that's about it.
Sure.
Because that's their base. Our base is
you've got
pretty
dirt
wide.
on the floor.
We've got a dirt floor arena. I mean, if you don't like dirt,
you may be
you're in the wrong place. But we do a lot of dirt events. I mean,
sure.
we do a ton of dirt events, but we're able to cover that dirt with a floor and make it very elegant for banquets and stuff like that. I think that's why I like this building so much, because it's such a variety.
And of course, if you have events lined up on a regular basis, you can plan and have staffing and people on board. Who helps with all of that? Does the Curry County employees, do they help with some of that, of prepping for those shows?
We have our own crew, with the management company. It's overseen. We're completely overseen by Curry County. So, the county commission now is fantastic. They've got the same type of vision for this building that I do. Everybody's on the same page, and they're helping us grow it. So together we're pushing the limits of what that building can do. And so far it's been great. But the staff, we have a core staff, and it's all hands on deck. I mean,
it's work.
Josh, I can't talk enough about him. He gathers these guys and he'll say, okay, guys, today we're going to lay the floor. Tomorrow we're going to do janitorial. We're going to clean. The next day we've got to go put stalls together for a horse event.
Sure.
And then we've got to come back in here, and I need you guys back here at 5 o'clock so that you can be the security for the banquet.
That's what I was going to ask. Your security and everybody is part of that management group that comes
everybody's trained to do everything. Our part-time ops guys, they've got their server's license, so they can step back behind the concessions and serve beer or help with that. So it's all hands on deck. We've just hired a new events manager, and his task is large. I mean, he's got to oversee marketing. I oversee it all, but he's got to do Facebook posts. He's got to book stall reservations. He's got to make sure the food orders are in. So there's a lot of moving parts to where we kind of all oversee everything.
Just the coordination on those rodeos when you have that many people that sign up.
And we're renting stalls for overnight. We're renting RV spaces for trailer hookups. That's our bread and butter, and we have a reservation system, but we still have to go assign all those people. So Mr. and Mrs. Smith have stalls 6, 7, and 8. We've got to let them know these are your stall assignments for this weekend. You're coming in Friday, you're leaving on Sunday morning.
And just dealing with the people flow
and there's always things that come up. I mean, it's a moving system. So I mean, you've got people, you've got your patrons that are coming in to watch the event, you've got your promoters that are putting on the event, and then you've got your contestants and everybody in between. So it's a lot of moving parts. I'm pretty blessed that we have a crew that can handle that, and they see the potential of what that building can do and kind of bring it together. Well,
I mean, that truly is the largest building within several counties, I believe, here in New Mexico and West Texas, probably. Yeah, it's the largest event center in eastern New Mexico and western Texas. So we
we've got it going, and it's just getting bigger.
Well, and I know I've helped a good friend of mine. Well, we both know Kenda Trollinger, and she's real involved with the chamber and different things there in Clovis. And she'll call on occasion and say, when she needs volunteers for different parts of the music festival.
Yep.
And
we've been blessed to be able to have the chamber bring some events back over to our arena, and stuff that's outgrown other venues, stuff that's really, the music festival has taken on a life of its own. It had potential,
right?
And now we're growing that potential. So we've got the room to expand. The Lions Club Gun Show is a great example of that. They outgrew the last venue they were at, and it's tripled in size in just 2 events. So we're going to have over 250 tables of vendors come this March, and it's going to be the biggest one that they've had. It's going to be the biggest gun show in eastern New Mexico and West Texas.
Is that pretty much every March that they do
Every
that?
March, every October. They do 2 a year. So those kind of events are becoming staples. There were some staple events, Pioneer Days Rodeo has been a staple event for 53, 54 years.
Long time.
And, this year they're moving it to the first week in May for the first time, which is different. But sometimes it, the way it's always been done gets a little stale. And, just events in general, you got to freshen them up.
Sure.
And you got to make them, you got to figure out how you make them bigger, how you make them better. People don't want to come to the same event they went to last year and see the same exact thing.
No.
Because year number 3, they're not going to come.
No.
So that's been our goal the whole time, is to make it bigger and better on the next one. And Eric Swan with Force of One MMA, he puts on one fighting championship a year, and we started small.
See, and I'm not familiar with wrestling at all.
Yeah.
And until we visited a couple of months ago, I didn't even realize that was in Clovis.
It's a big deal. I mean, there's some nationally recognized fighters that have come out of Clovis, and we want to showcase that. And of course, Eric wants to showcase that. And so the cool part about that is now it's a game. How do we one up last year? How do we one up last year?
What are we going to add?
What are we going to add to make it just that much more of a professional show, to where people from, all over this fight world want to come to this event? This is one that they mark on their calendar, no matter what. They want to be either fighting or attending this event.
Well, you have a lot of things. I mean, I don't think you guys do car shows, but when you have that following.
Not yet.
Not yet, but I'm sitting there thinking that's probably a really...
There's a list of things. Unfortunately, there's only so many weekends a year, but we are...
when it's hot and people like those cars to be protected and in that environment, in our wind and things in the spring.
and it's an indoor arena. I mean, that's the nice part about it. And we're trying to bridge some of those gaps to where we can feed off of these other events, because Clovis has a lot of events. I've heard it said that there's nothing to do in Clovis, and I don't believe it.
When you dig down into it, there's
I've never had a problem finding something to do on a weekend in Clovis, and it's not just because I work at the event center, but there's things going on Main Street every weekend. Lisa Pellegrino Spear has done a great job with Main Street, and adding events and different things that people can do, and just to draw people downtown. And we're going to start piggybacking off of some of that
that's what I was going to say. If you collaborate and kind of springboard back
Absolutely.
and forth, kind of volley back and forth.
Yeah, the MMA event's going to be Saturday, and that's the day before Dragon Main kicks off. So we're going to piggyback off that. We're going to have a burnout contest at the fairgrounds to try and get people hyped up. They can go to the MMA fights, and then Sunday, it's Dragon Main all week long. And then we stay away from that weekend, the Dragon Main, that Saturday. The following Saturday, we don't have anything, because we want people to go down to the Dragon Main event. Partners work way better than competition.
Right.
And I've said that probably my whole career. I'd rather be your friend than your competitor, because if we team up together, you take two events and you split the crowd, or you make one really big.
Yeah, both of you are going to lose if you compete on those same weekends.
You put them together, you combine your efforts, and everybody wins.
Well, that's pretty interesting where you said the chamber banquet was even held
Yeah.
there this year. So
Yeah.
what kind of flooring do you put
So
down?
we have a composite floor that rolls out.
Okay.
Our old floor, unfortunately, we had a flood in the arena. That was pretty devastating. Right around MMA again.
You could have had mud wrestling.
We thought about it. We thought about a lot of stuff, but there were some ideas there. Some mud volleyball. I don't know. There was ideas being thrown out. I wasn't in the mood to think about it, but I was in the mood to get mud out and get the events back going. But we had a flood, and MMA kind of had to be put on the side. But we had everybody help,
Get in there and get it
because that
ready.
floor was floating on 12 inches of water. And the silver lining out of that is the floor was damaged. It got replaced with this really nice floor. So it was an upgrade, which helped out. And but that's stuff that happens. It's the events business. It's always moving. Something's always different. And I have these 2 a.m. ideas. Josh tells me that I can't.
Oh, 2 a.m.
That I need
and you
to
write it down.
Yeah, and I think about it and I go, dodgeball, or something like that. And then I come to work and I go, hey Josh, I had this idea last night, and he drops his head and shakes his head.
Does he kind of do this like
He goes, oh man, no, what are we doing
the
now?
coordination
So
of how do we figure this out?
and then we figure it out. We figure out how to make it work, and 9 times out of 10 it does.
Well, and you're a long ways from a lot of places, so if you need certain things brought in for the show, you're 100 miles from any of the bigger cities.
We're very self-sustaining, which is something that was very well thought out when they built the event center. Was table covers and tables and the floor and stuff like that, to where we could self-sustain really any kind of event. I mean, we push the Curry County Fair. Curry County Fair is our biggest event of the year.
Mm-hmm.
How do we expand on that? How do we reach more people, get more people to come out? And again, the marketing is all internal.
Sure.
we do it all. It's a one-stop shop, and so far we've hit the mark.
I had read in the paper, is it a jumbotron, or what is it that
It is. I couldn't be more excited. So we got a grant from the state. Curry County went after a grant. Christian Price went and put this all together. We collaborated, talked about what we needed for the event center to make it better.
Right.
And fortunately, we were fortunate enough to get a grant from the state, and we're getting a brand new LED screen.
Well, that's a huge deal.
Permanent.
I mean, if you're watching rodeo, or when I've been to concerts, if you're not up at the front, you get very far back. You really can't see.
Graduation's a prime example. Clovis High School graduation.
I did not know.
Graduates 450 people.
I didn't know it was moved there.
And there's 6,000 people in that building for the graduation. Grandma and grandpa have to sit sometimes all the way in the back.
Mm-hmm.
And so they rent a screen. They bring a screen in to rent. Now they don't have to do that. Now we're able to advertise upcoming events.
That's true.
Now we're able to, make the MMA fights even better. The rodeo rents a screen. Now they're not going to have to do that. We're going to have one internal. And again, that's going to be run by our staff.
Very nice.
We're going to teach them they're going to be trained and teach them how to use it.
And you also, I know a lot of your events, you have sponsors. So if you have that huge screen, that helps you with marketing of being able to get sponsors that can have their name out there.
That's my background. Absolutely.
You're always thinking, what can I do with this to improve it and get
we
people
ran
in
out
here?
of space on the walls, so which is a good thing to have. My background, I was the sponsorship services manager for the Professional Bull Riders Tour for 8 years. So everything to me is sellable inventory for advertising. And that's what we're pushing right now, is just to make sure all these local businesses. We've got 98% of our building sponsors are local business.
That's amazing.
Which is fantastic.
Well, those small businesses you bring people into Clovis, and I'm sure you get a portion of the lodger's tax, and that helps. But
absolutely,
that's putting people in hotel rooms and restaurants and shopping and.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the biggest thing is bringing people to the event center. That's what it's there for. I had a guy tell me a long time ago, an event center is only an event center if there's an event in it.
Sure.
Other than that, it's just a building.
When we were able to get the football stadium back on the campus here at Eastern, or not back, but on campus versus out on the halfway between Portales and Clovis, people weren't coming into Portales to stay or to eat. They were going to that, and Clovis was seeing some benefits of that.
Sure.
But the difference of having that on campus and then could add, you know, track meets and soccer
Absolutely.
and all those types of things.
Yeah, and when we cater events, we don't have a catering. I mean, we're a concession stand. But when we do events, we cater local. We cater, Leal's brought a great meal in for the chamber banquet. K-Bob's, Guadalajara, they've done some stuff for us. Quite a few of them come in, and we do a lot of local business. That's the biggest thing is these people come in, they stay for 3 nights for the junior rodeo finals, and they bring the whole family.
Yeah.
I mean, grandma, grandpa, mom, dad, brother, sister, they're all there for the entire thing. They're eating breakfast at somewhere. Sure. They're eating lunch at the event center, and then they're going out to dinner.
Well, and anymore with the food trucks, what you don't serve in the concession, if you can, I mean, a lot of people, they have Foodie Fridays and different things around town, and they literally go for the food.
Yeah, absolutely. With this new livestock pavilion, we got a $14 million livestock pavilion coming in right now. It's getting built. 250 indoor stalls, capability for full livestock shows. And the nice part about that is they're putting in RV hookups right down the middle in this plaza area where we can hook up food trucks. So we can have those kind of events so that we can expand on that a little bit. So,
well, and that goes in great with the fair.
Absolutely.
If you're getting all that put in
right now we have 22 food vendors on the waiting list.
I mean, because a lot of people truly, they go to the fair for the food.
Absolutely.
All the insane things people eat.
I plot it out, and I'm there all day, every day for 5, 6, 7 days in a row. And
do you take a camper out there?
I live out there. I really literally do live out at the fairgrounds.
Just keep a cot in your office. And
I live at the fairgrounds full time. So I have a trailer out there that I live in.
Oh, you're being serious?
I'm serious.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm serious. I live. I live out there.
So you're security too.
Kinda. Yeah.
You and
Hank. That's what Hank does.
You and all your 4-legged friends.
Yeah. If Cooper, Daisy, or Barkley bark at anything, I don't really pay too much attention. If Hank barks, there's somebody else.
Something's going on.
Yeah.
Well, I know the music festival happens every year, so that's typically in April. And
yep, we bumped it 1 week this year just so that we could secure some talent. Usually it's the second week of April. It used to be in June. We decided we'd separate it, make it its own thing. Again,
separate from the car show.
Going back to that whole Dragon Main, going back to that shared events thing. Didn't make sense to have 2 events on the same weekend.
No.
So we moved it to April, and we saw success the first year. It was good.
Well, there's not a lot going on. The weather's still unpredictable.
Yep.
I mean, you have home and garden shows typically that time of year, but
but
our weather can be tough.
Yep.
It may be beautiful,
and it's a little too early for monster trucks, and it's a little too late for some of those winter rodeo circuits. So it's kind of that sweet spot in April. I think it's going to be great, and luckily we got some really good artists this year.
Well, and people can always look at this. There's a couple of different places. If you go to, let's make sure I get this right, www.curryeventcenter.com.
Yep, curryeventcenter.com.
And then also on Facebook, it's just a Curry Event Center, right? Events. Curry Events Center on Facebook.
Yep.
And so if people follow those, and I actually had gotten online and looked to see what all was coming. And do they buy tickets through that also?
Not generally. Usually we put a link up on our Facebook to whatever the promoter is. I know Clovis Music Festival has their own website for that one. Pioneer Days Rodeo has their own website, but we'll put the links up on Facebook and the website so they can link over and buy tickets.
Well, and remember we have community calendar here on KENW FM.
Yeah.
And we always put your events and things like that on
Absolutely.
on there
We've got the nice part about it is Clovis and Portales, this area is old school enough to where people look at flyers and windows and they see those community calendars and stuff. You get to some of these bigger cities and that's irrelevant.
Right.
Fortunately, we can do that.
But billboards and things like that in our world, they're still up. They still work.
The biggest advertising we do is flyers and windows. And it's great. I love it.
Well, Casey, it's been great having you here and learning
Thanks.
more about, and thanks for all your hard work and what you do for bringing events and things for us to do in Eastern New Mexico.
Well, thanks for
It's a
having me.
pleasure.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you. Have you back on here again one of these
Absolutely,
days.
anytime.
Thank you. And to all of you watching today, thank you. We will see you next time. Cheers.